everybody. Right, so thank you. It looks like we are live on the air. This is Charles with Ravery Sports. So we thank you for joining us this week here to our weekly broadcast, our weekly mainstream here, our Ravery Sports. So welcome to all of you out there watching on all of our social media platforms. We are watching, if you're watching this on Facebook, on YouTube, thank you much for watching us today. We really appreciate you. Get that camera straight there. There you go. All right, so thank you for watching all of us. Thank you for watching us this week. Let's get the business out of the way. First, you see it at the bottom of the screen, ravorisports@gmail.com. So we are, if you are looking for any Ravens, like I got this hat here, let's see, like this Ravens Orioles jersey, Orioles t-shirt here. We have a lot of other good merchandise just like this at our website, at the website that's coming, rather. But until then, you can reach out to me at ravorisports@gmail.com for those holiday gifts. And also, you see there, Genesis Notary Services /facebook.com. You can go on the website and book a session with me if you live in the Shenandoah Valley area. Okay, so we could go ahead, if you have a notary needs and documents that you need notarized or anything like that, we'll come right out. I'll come right out and get that squared away for you. Also, too, you can check us out. You can go ahead and Google it. So if you have Google, just go ahead and Google Genesis Notary Services, and all the information direct you straight to the site right on there as well. All right. So, and definitely this week, check us out on all of our social media platforms. We're doing this on Facebook and YouTube as we do every week, our mainstream, but also to TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. All of our social media platforms are there. We will go ahead and you can check out our shorts and other videos on those platforms as well. Twitter apparently is still around this week, considering everything that's going on in Twitter. So we're grateful for that. All right, so let's get down to the business of football. So we had a game last Sunday at 1 o'clock. Started a little, but actually it wasn't even 1 o'clock. It was a little after 1. Apparently there was a little weather delay at the start. And so that's the final there, if you're seeing it on the screen. So Ravens lose 28-27 to Jacksonville. Jacksonville was able to win the game on Sunday. Very exciting finish to this game. Fourth quarter was really good. Both teams really went back and forth in the fourth quarter on both sides. So I did a react video afterward, and I said the Ravens didn't deserve to win, and they didn't. Too many errors. I think it is almost, if you want to positively look at that, mark of a good team that didn't get beat worse, considering all the mistakes that they made. I thought this was the worst they looked all season against just poor execution in this one, I thought, by the Ravens. Lamar, I didn't think he was good. I've heard some people on the net and defend him. I didn't think so. I thought this was his worst game I see him remember him. 16-32, 50%, 254. He did have the one TD late. Rushing as usual, he usually has good rushing totals, 14 attempts, 89 yards. I thought his passing was not good in this one. He overthrew like at least 2 or 3 touchdown passes in this one. I thought he missed some receivers that were open. I thought a lot of even the catches where like guys had to move, had to make tough catches to get it. On top of that, I thought the receivers were bad too. Even the security blanket, the guy, their number one guy, Mark Andrews, at tight end, wasn't good. He had a couple drops. At this one, the only one I thought played well, I thought was Josh Oliver. I thought that was the best game I've seen him in. And even he had that drop in the end zone. That was a tougher catch. But that was their passing game was not good in this. I thought the lack of receiver really shows. Um, I don't. I keep repeating it, but it keeps being true. I keep saying it because it keeps being true. You, I think it's masked sometimes by a couple things. Andrews is usually so good. I think some people kind of think, well, that's all you need to do. They didn't have Isaiah Likely in this game either. I thought that factored in. And I think they win games anyway, in spite of it, because you have Justin Tucker, the greatest kicker of all time. You have running backs. You have. I think, but like this, I keep saying it's like we keep thinking, even the Jaguars are not known for their great receiver. I mean, their receivers, Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, they're miles better than anything the Ravens have out there. Miles better. So let's get to that. The rest of the crew there. Gus, 16 of 52, one touchdown, huge, costly fumble by Gus, uncharacteristic of him. I thought, yeah, that fumble late in Jaguar territory, really, I mean, that was a huge difference in the game if it wasn't the game. Again, working itself back in and out of the lineup because of injury, things like that. So hopefully Gus can do better next week. Not going to be too down on him because of it, because that was uncharacteristic of him. Josh Oliver, I think I mentioned this already. I thought he was the one receiver that I thought that did play well. I thought Josh Oliver did well. I thought he was open a lot. I think Lamar missed him a couple times. And he caught the one TD pass in the end zone late in the game. I thought Josh Oliver was good. I thought for the third tight end, essentially, and he's essentially placed Nick Boyle, who's still in the play, even with the injuries. I thought Josh Oliver has done well playing against his former team, motivated to play well. I thought Josh Oliver did a good job in this one. Defense, I thought the defense, actually, believe it or not, wasn't terrible, except for at the end. I don't think you can have your defense carry you for 4 quarters all the time. I really do. I'm really laying this more, for me, my analysis, I'm really kind of laying this one more on the offense than I am the defense. Although the defense kind of let them down at the end. But again, the fumble in their own territory, I think, like that, put defense in bad position. And you couldn't get offense all of a sudden. So I think that contributed. Marlon Humphrey was great, though. Teams are not throwing at him. He has to really work hard to even get. That's why I thought they did the corner blitz and everything in this one to kind of get him more involved. I thought he had 6 tackles. I thought Marlon was really good. I thought he was probably your best defensive player for the Ravens. Defensively, I thought it wasn't a great outing, except for I thought it was a decent enough outing, except for the last quarter, which of course they blew up. Can't do it though. Can't do it. I don't want to be 2 minutes stench, but can't do that. Can't have blow a fourth quarter lead like that. Defense has got to stand up. I think had they made some stops at the end as well, they definitely would have won this game. Jacksonville side, Trevor Lawrence, former first-round draft pick, 29 of 37, 321, 3 TDs. It's a little deceptive, those numbers, because a lot of that was late. Again, when the Ravens weren't doing so well there. But Trevor Lawrence looks decent enough to me. I mean, best that I could tell. Big, strong, athleticism. Throws the ball very well. Very good arm. Got some athleticism, runs around a lot. Doesn't look to run, but he's a mobile enough quarterback in the pocket, which is very, very important. If you're not a Lamar Jackson or Justin Fields is running, mobile enough in the pocket, not a statue. Doesn't have a great line. I think that's part of his problem, but I thought he did well. I think they're going forward. I think they definitely have something with Trevor Lawrence. Absolutely. Hasty was one. I think I'm pronouncing his name. Jamakal. I'm sure that's not right. Hasty. Got that part. 12 attempts for 28 yards. He was their leading rusher in this one. I think he had the receiving touchdown in the early game for Trevor Lawrence as well. Travis Etienne was hurt in the first half. That was very weird. He was just kind of just standing on the sideline. They didn't put him back in because of the injury. Played well, so hopefully he's okay. He was injured. Zay Jones. I looked at the stats after the game, and I was shocked to see that he was this productive. Because it didn't really, I almost kind of, but he had 11 receptions, 145. So that's incredible. Like with Christian Kirk and the other receivers, I mean, this guy really had a big day. And this kind of goes to what I was saying about not throwing in Humphrey. Like their teams, that's what they're doing, especially whoever the third corner is, especially. They had Brandon Stevens in there a lot this week because you had no Kyle Hamilton. So that's kind of telling me where they're going and kind of not going to Humphrey. Good day for Jay Jones. Can't believe, 145. I was actually shocked to see that. After when I looked, it's like, yeah, he had 145. So good day for him. This team throws the ball decent enough. Their problems, I think, are on defense. The Jags, they really got to get that cleaned up. Defensively, they don't have to worry about this guy. Fasad Okulumi, maybe I'm saying that one wrong too, so I apologize for that. He was 18 tackles on the field. That didn't surprise me watching the game. He was all over the field. So he was a guy I thought the Ravens, I was hoping that they had their eye on. He came, I think it was Atlanta last year, where he played. Good inside linebacker, and he was everywhere on the field. Really what they were doing on defense is they were making sure that Lamar didn't go too crazy in the run game. I thought that was their first priority. I think teams several weeks I've seen that are doing that. They're trying to limit Lamar in the ground so he doesn't destroy them with a huge day on the ground. So I think that's what I think they were doing. That's what it looked like there. So great game by him. 18 tackles in one game. Very great Lewis-like effort there. I thought the Ravens didn't play well in this one. I thought they just poor execution. I thought this was the worst they've looked all season. Frankly, the execution was just not there. You can't drop passes all the time. Have it. Their drop rate for the season, I think, is amongst the highest of the league I saw this week. Dropping passes, not executing in this one. I don't think we should panic too much as fans, because I don't think you can be this bad every week. I don't think a team this good is going to be this bad every week. But executing, and shout out to the Jaguars. I thought the Jaguars are better than your record. They've been in a lot of close games. They have some actual talent there. I think they're kind of not. I said this. This is a difference between really good teams and teams like the Jags. They have good players, but they're missing pieces. There's some teams like the Texans, that are bereft of talent or whatever. Like, they're not. The Jaguars aren't that. They have talent there. They just don't have enough to be a really good team, and they're kind of inexperienced. They kind of have young players there as well. So Ravens back at it this week. Let's get to this as they return to M&T Bank Stadium, and they're going to play the Denver Broncos. Ravens now 7-4. Missed a good opportunity last week, but they're going back at it again this week. Going against Denver, 3-8. That is right for Denver. 3-8 is the record on the season. So let's take a look at the Broncos. We know the main guy here, Russell Wilson. You look at the stat line: 2,027, 22-27 in passing yards, 8 TDs, 5 picks. Russell it's been jarring to watch how bad Russell's been. Anemic is the passing game that the Broncos have had. I was not as high on Broncos at the beginning of the year as some people were. I think a lot of people saw it as okay, you get Russell Wilson in there, and okay, it's like a Tampa Bay situation a few years ago. All right, the rest of the team is you get an elite quarterback and they're Super Bowl ready. Not the case. I kind of didn't think so about the supporting cast. I didn't think so about Russell. I will admit to this. I didn't think 3-8. They and not just 3-8. Their offense has been bad. This is statistically, I think, at the bottom of the league of the offense. Only 8 TDs for Russell, and you can see the difference. So not good. The Broncos, and that's been the problem. I think defensively they haven't been terrible. The problem. They've ran through a couple running backs. So their leading rusher right now is a guy who's Ravens last year, Latavius Murray, 76 yards, 301, 3 touchdown passes. I don't know exactly what happened with Melvin Gordon. I know they had an injury with Javonte Williams early in the year. So they released him, or something happened where he's no longer there. So this is your number one back there, Latavius Murray. What this guy the Ravens are familiar with. This guy played for the Ravens last year, so he's a little better slasher in between the tackles type guy. Ravens gonna have to do good inside. Gonna have to play well inside to go ahead and get that squared away and take care of that. The Ravens' run defense has been really good ever since they got Roquan Smith. Teams have had very little success running the ball. So, big one here. Cortland Sutton, 52 receptions, 668 yards, 1 TD pass. Easily the number one receiver for this team. KJ Hensler, I don't know if he's healthy enough to play. They refused to trade him at the trade deadline, and they've definitely been keeping him. Jerry Jeudy, I think, is on this roster as well. He's been injured as well, hasn't played. So this is going to be their number one guy. If Russell can get him the ball the way Russell is played. So this is definitely a guy. I think Humphrey is going to be on him a lot. That's going to be the guy they're watching. Passing offense really not been good. I would say, though, you don't want to sleep too much because this is a Hall of Fame quarterback. You never know. You can wake up at any time. He didn't forget to play. So keep that in mind. Defense in Denver isn't terrible. I like these two guys here. Pat Surtain, the second. Watched his dad play the same position for many years. Pat Surtain, very good young corner that plays out there. Justin Simmons, also too, Pro Bowl level, say a strong safety that they have. So definitely good secondary coverage. So Lamar, again, when you're playing secondary like this, the lack of weapons shows sometimes like that. So expect the Ravens to run the ball a lot in this one because of the lack of weapons that they have, because of the solid corner play that they have in Denver. Those two good defensive backs that they have. Offensively, let's look at the Ravens side of it. Usually we highlight one player. Definitely, but I'm going to go larger here. Weapons outside of Lamar. Last week was completely unacceptable. You can't have Lamar win every game before you do everything. He can't run passes, throw passes, catch passes, even a Lamar Jackson. Weapons outside of Lamar. So you got to give him some help. Let's get a 100-yard rushing day from somebody finally. Let's get good receiving day from somebody. Let's get Andrews. I don't think has looked the same since his injury, since he's come back from injury. I think he might still be a little banged up. So let's get somebody else to help him. You're getting good line play, for God's sake. Even without Ronnie Stanley, I thought the line was really good. Offensive line I'm talking about. So let's get somebody to help him. So weapons outside of Lamar, not just him, because I think it's more of an ensemble. You don't have one guy. This is going to have to be next man up. Somebody else is going to have to step up. I'm going to do a similar thing on defense. Nickel corner is definitely a weakness. We don't know if Kyle Hamilton is going to be back in there this week, but Brandon Stevens, rather. Pepe Williams. Let's go. The teams have been targeting them all season. This is definitely where Russell's going to go. Go look at that third corner. Nobody's really stepped up to really help out Marlon and Marcus Peters. So definitely that's where teams have to go. That's where they're going to go. So can we find if we get Kyle Hamilton? So let's go with nickel corners as well. I think that's the only really weak spot I see on the defense, frankly, these days, is that nickel corner. Teams more and more they're gonna start doing it. They're gonna spread you out, and they're gonna start attacking down these corners, not named Peters Humphrey. So thinking about that. Also going forward, Peters is a free agent, and we're not sure his age and his salary if we're going to have him next year. That's a whole nother video. But this is a good opportunity to show the staff who's going to step up and do that. So, all right. So there you go. I think Ravens win this game pretty easily. Harbaugh is probably screaming already. I can hear him. I don't live in Owings Mills anymore, but I can. I'm sure I can hear him from here. He's probably already screaming at these young guys, ready to go. Execution was bad in that one. Even in the presser last week, Harbaugh really uncharacteristically, even in a loss, didn't have a lot to say. Usually he goes out and says, I'm proud of the guys, whatever. One word answers. Not very good performance at all by the Ravens. So I'm sure he was going to go ahead and get a lot of that taken care of. All right, so we're going to go over this. We have to. Lamar, after the game, late, as I was doing my getting ready for the stream and everything, after all the games, I collect the stats. Like football nerds like me do things like that. And apparently I was just scrolling through there, and shout out to this guy. This is where we got it, Bobby Trissett. Former WBAL. Apparently, he's a former WBAL radio guy, and he's live stream every week. And he actually showed the vulgar tweet that I'm not going to repeat here. I don't want my little channel shut down on YouTube. Lamar responded to a fan. The fan was essentially saying the Ravens don't need to pay him all this money because he didn't play well enough. That's the short version of it. He was asked for $250 million. We got to spread the money around. We can't give this guy $250 million. Lamar apparently didn't like that. Said this guy, and again, I'm a paraphrase. I don't want to get shut down. But he said, well, this guy doesn't know anything about football, and this guy can blank a blank, basically. So definitely check that out if you want to actually read the tweet or something like that if you haven't read it already. I'm going to use this comp that's not football, okay, about Twitter and social media in general, and I want to talk about this. I use this person as a comp in several things in the business setting. Roseanne Barr is the comp I use in several settings. The show, The Connors, is on now. It used to be called, they brought back Roseanne. ABC did. She was on it, et cetera, et cetera. First, it makes sense. She was the star of the show. The show was very successful, whatever. And they were going to bring it back. I think this was in between after the first season. And this was, she makes a comment inappropriate about African Americans. I won't repeat it. But it was obviously inappropriate for African Americans. A lot of people were upset, obviously, and there were consequences behind that action. So this was at sometime in the evening. Let's just make that. I don't know what time exactly, but it was sometime in the previous evening. As the story came out, sometime in the evening. Let's make it 5 o'clock or something. I don't know exactly. But let's just make it after the day's work that day. So the next day, before that, the tweet comes out. There's a media storm. People are angry. Her agent fires her. She gets fired from the show. She gets fired from everywhere. She lost all of her sponsorships. Everything was gone. By 12 the next day, after that tweet, it was done. Couple skis on the ski shows from the night before to 12 the next day, her life had completely changed, flatline. That fast. On Twitter. This is what I'm doing right now, live streaming on YouTube. I do on Facebook, whatever. I want to tell Lamar this, and I don't want to tell anybody this. It's a business. I don't know why people think you can get on social media and say and do whatever and no consequence. There's no such thing. And I this is not, I'm going to get to Lamar part of it in a second, but I really want to talk about this part of it as well. But you cannot do that. I don't know why people think you can't go to a job. I have actual 9-5 that I go to. There would be no scenario where I would say what Lamar said at a 9-5 in a lot of settings. Army, military, police, whatever. There's certain ones that allow a little more foul language. But you can't go around doing it. And we see this on social media. And just want him to understand, a lot of people understand, there are consequences for that. And you can't go around doing it. I think that's what I see a lot in social media, where people just say things and think nobody notices. People know. I mean, people may not comment or may not say anything. I learned that many years ago when I made a tweet about my daughter had a bad experience, a bad racial experience. There was another young lady that said something to her that was right, and it was, she was only 5 years old at the time, and all of a sudden, wow, I had all these responses and things like that. For the first, and this was like years ago with Facebook, came out. So I was like, oh wow, people really reading. People are always watching, and that's what I would say to him and say to anybody. That this is a business, and people are always watching. Let me get to the Lamar part of this. He was visibly frustrated after that game. I heard him use foul language for the first time in the presser. He was upset. So I thought Bobby said, I was watching him. I thought he was enormously generous with him, and saying it was uncharacteristic, and it was, and he just came off a loss. He was mad. He was frustrated. He didn't play well. The team didn't play particularly well. And I think that's not the time to be on social media and responding stuff and doing stuff. So again, hopefully he learns from it. I think Harbaugh did talk to him, things like that. Hopefully this doesn't come around again. But he's got to understand. I heard he was mad. Somebody said some of the contents were anti-gay, etc. You go on there on Twitter. Again, think like a professional. Think like a business at all times. It's very important that you do that. Again, frustration and all that, and I get that, but it's a business, and just stay off the thing sometimes if you feel like that. Even me saying it, trying to make money off of it, but stay off the thing. If you're not in a frame of mind or things like that, once you put stuff out there, it's out there. So he knows that, and I think he'll learn from that, and I think the Ravens will move forward from that. All right, let's talk about games some more. Big Five. So let's go ahead and get squared away. Get that graphic up. 3-2 last week, 32-28 for the season. Last week, some decent games last week as well. Commanders on a roll. Heineke, man, they really playing well. I mean, definitely here. So I can understand why they stuck with him. He was in there. Big Five, they had a big game for the first time there in that segment. So good slate of games this week. Looked at this schedule, and it's really good. So it was even hard. So good slate of games. this week. Let's start with this one. The Bills going into Foxborough to play the Patriots. Bills victorious last week. Patriots kind of rebounding a bit. Can they go ahead and beat? This would say be a big statement for me, I think, for their season. Can they go ahead and beat Buffalo in this one? Buffalo's been wobbling a bit for their standards. I still think they beat New England. I don't think New England has a lot of talent. I think this is kind of. I don't think Buffalo falls asleep in this game. They've been getting beat by New England too many years in a row. So I definitely think New England. I don't really think Buffalo wins this game. Their defense is still very good. Mac Jones has been better lately. Really good last week. A lot of yards passing this week. But we'll see. I'm still going to go with Buffalo in this one against a team I don't think can match up talent-wise. I don't think they match up talent-wise with the Bills. Definitely want to talk about the Jets and the Vikings. The Jets going in after the win last week over the Bears, and the Vikings going in this week. So Vikings trying to get the bye, trying to go ahead and get the number one seed. Can they catch Philadelphia and be the number one seed in the NFC? Have whole playoffs all the way through. That's for sure. That's their goal at this time. Vikings offense has been good all year long. Cousins hasn't been getting a lot of credit because it's Kirk Cousins. But I think their offense is played well. Justin Jefferson is a cheat code. Oh, my goodness. He's been fantastic all year long. I can't wait to see this Justin Jefferson versus Hot Sauce Gardner in this one. That'd be fantastic. Great matchup. Two outstanding players. Jets, my God. Oh, boy. They put first of all, benching Zach Wilson, probably the right idea. Probably, look, he struggled. He hasn't shown him much. Fine. Slow your roll, Mike White. You would think the Jets won the Super Bowl. They beat the Bears without Justin Fields. Slow down, Jet fans. My goodness. See if you can win a game like this. Difficult road game against a difficult opponent. You're supposed to do that. Okay? Against the Bears. Not very good on defense. They got rid of Roquan Smith. They got rid of the best player. They didn't have the starting quarterback. You're at home. Calm down. Like, yeah, I heard all this week, Mike White, and this, like, okay, just slow your roll. I don't think they win this game. I don't think they have enough to go into Minnesota and win. I think even with Mike White, we're going to find out how good he is because they're going to be tested. Because Minnesota definitely has firepower on their offense. Outstanding. They have very good weapons in there. Dalvin Cook, I think, is very underrated as a back. Another really good game. Titans. Most physical team, I think, in the league against the team, I think, with the best record overall, the Eagles. Derrick Henry, I love to watch him play all the time. He runs over everybody. Good speed, good burst on his thing. I think Tennessee the best offensive line also too in the NFL. Very good, very talented offensive line. Not explosive on offense, Tennessee. So that's the thing. I mean, I think that's the only weak spot they have. They got rid of their guys on the other side. AJ Brown, they went ahead and traded him in the offseason. And they really haven't really replaced him. But the thing is, usually they don't need it. Because the way they play, time of possession, physical nature, can that be enough? Can they smack Philadelphia in the mouth enough to actually do it? I'm not sure they can. Philadelphia has that as well. They're going to run the ball a lot. They score a lot of points, but the formula has not changed. They run the ball a lot. Hurts runs the ball a lot. Miles Sanders runs the ball a lot. And I think that's the difference between these two teams. They have a guy, explosive, A.J. Brown on the other side, that can really do some things and really open up. And if they can pull away in this thing in the shootout, that's why I like the Eagles And funny enough, the difference in this game is the guy they traded away in the offseason, A.J. Brown. Another good matchup. Dolphins really been on a roll here going against 49ers. 49ers now the darling. Yeah, I see a lot of people think they're the best team in the NFC. Jimmy Garoppolo has been playing well for them. What a difference this makes this year. We saw it week 2, how good the Dolphins are on offense. Look, getting Tyreek Hill hasn't made a little difference. It's made a huge difference. Tua looks, he's in the MVP conversation, for God's sake. I mean, my goodness. The year he's had, I think he's got 29 touchdowns. So definitely it's firepower. I think this is, if the Niners aren't the best defense if Buffalo isn't the best defense in the NFL, I think then the 49ers are. They are going to have their hands full with Tyreek Hill as well. I like Miami in this game. I think Miami keeps rolling. I think the Niners offense is a little overstated. Even with some of the guys they have, Deebo Samuel's having a bit of a down year. McCaffrey hasn't been really using the true running back sense. You better score some points against the Dolphins. I mean, the way they've been going. So I like the Dolphins in this one. And again, another really good game. The Chiefs, Kansas City going against the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati is a very good team. They've been on a roll lately, considering they haven't had Jamar Chase. And again, was talking about this year how really good their receiving core is. The Chiefs have been usual. I think probably the best team in the AFC right now. They've beaten a lot of good teams. I think except Buffalo. I think they've had 2 losses, I think, all year. They're really, really good. We know what they can do. I think Mahomes is has definitely been the best quarterback in the league this season. I did the video like, okay, half year Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. Mahomes now is really separating himself with that. And what he's a point with him, even without the receiving core he once had. Travis Kelce again, fantastic. Here's the thing on the other side too. I think if they had Jamar Chase, this is one of the few teams that has firepower to match their firepower. But I think this is finally a game where they don't have their monster in there. That's gonna matter. I'm gonna take Kansas City. I'm usually gonna take Kansas City. I mean, Kansas City is really good. Bengals are almost have firepower talent, not as consistent. I think that's the only flaw I really see with Cincinnati a lot of times. Defense in the back end, and they're not consistent every week. They kind of like weeks don't show up or kind of fall asleep at times. So I like KC in this one. There you go. Big 5. And enjoy all the games this week. Very good slate of games. When I was looking at all those teams are, we looked at, over 500, any playoff contention. I think all those teams are so definitely a really good slate of games. So definitely keep that in mind. Let's shift to baseball. Absolutely. We're going to talk about Adley here in a second. Also to free agency. We are going to go ahead and go over that as well as situation warrants in baseball. Baseball is not like the NFL. It kind of drips and drabs in. So we saw Jose Abreu sign 3 years in Houston. I think that's a great signing. That's the rich get richer. I think Jose Abreu is 36. He's a young 36. I really think that he's going to help them out a lot. That'll basically end Trey Mancini there, I think. But I think that was a good signing for them. So definitely as free agents go forward, we'll go ahead and we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe do stand on the video once the Orioles stuff. But baseball free agency is kind of like that. That's why I'm not doing like a whole update every week, on that. As something especially comes in with the Orioles, especially, we'll definitely keep that squared away. One other thing I want to mention is I got this channel announcement. Pretty soon we're gonna have videos. We've been doing all of our NFL content, MLB content, general sports, Maryland football. We are going to talk Terps basketball as well pretty soon. We're going to get a little bit of that. Also, too, we're going to be doing videos about the other part of this business that are merchandise. So as the merchandise is coming in, you may see some things about that as well pretty soon. So just keep that in mind. You may see a ravorisports about the jerseys, about the hats, about things like that as well. So keep that in mind as well going forward. All right, back to that graphic. Adley, does he deserve a long-term extension with the Orioles? I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen and what has happened. Adley, I think, was fantastic this year. I think even he exceeded his high expectations. Love the way he plays. Runs out to the mound, talks to the pitcher. Really as good as any young catcher I've ever seen. Command of the game behind the plate. Very good defensively. Offensively, I love him at the plate as well. The only question mark I think with him is he going to be a A-plus power hitter? I think he's going to do everything else for you. And he might become an A-plus power hitter. I don't know. But he's plate discipline, very good. Defensively, very good. So, very young player. And we've seen the comp now. Tampa Bay, Rays. Wander Franco went ahead and signed a long-term extension for big money, I think, like that. It makes sense to do that if you're Tampa Bay because you're a small market team and you don't necessarily have the money to actually go ahead and do that. You don't want to price yourself out later on having be one of the best players in the league and you can't keep him. No, let's keep him right now. So let's go ahead and give him some money on the rookie deal that we could have saved, and so we can save some money later and keep him around with our franchise. Julio Rodriguez, the guy who actually did win Rookie of the Year and not Adley Rushman, actually had the same thing. He went ahead and signed a long-term extension with the Mariners. I think it was like $200+ million. So should the Orioles be doing this? Should the Orioles go ahead and give Adley a long-term extension right now rather than later on? It's hard for me to say no to that. I think you should. Regardless of what they say, they don't seem to like saying this. But this is fact. You're a small market team. You do not have, certainly not the Yankees or the Dodgers and the Angels. You certainly don't have that type of record. And you're smaller than even DC. So I think a move like this would be good. Adley has shown me everything I need to see to have a long-term extension with the team. I'm fine with it. I don't. There's nothing that I've seen with him that would think that. Will they do it? I'm a preface. We still don't know about Michael Elias yet in a lot of ways. The whole time he's been here, and by the best that I can tell, he's done a very good job. Stellar job as GM. He's turned this thing around. This was not easy. You had ownership fighting. You had a really bad team. You had no prospects. Hey, look, trending up doesn't do it justice with the job Michael Elias has done. But we really don't know what he's going to do with a team that's contending. Like, it's easy for me a lot of times to come in here and say with the Ravens because Ozzie Newsome, Eric DeCosta, Harbaugh have been there so long. I kind of know how they think, how they, we really don't know with Michael Elias. I really don't have trends. People keep trying to make the Houston comp to him because he was with the Astros, and he's going to build it similarly. But we really don't know yet. My guess is they don't sign him to an extension this season. That's just a guess, what I think, simply because they've been hesitant to do anything. It's still early free agency, so they may go out and sign a bunch of guys that know they've been looking at pictures. But I think like something like this, we'd have heard something. I haven't heard anything on an Adley extension. I don't see why, and this is a situation where you come out and you say that, hey, let's go out and see if we can get something done. So let's hope it gets done. They seem to be. We'll find out more after the winter meetings. I really think that we'll find out more after the winter meetings, which I think is next week. So that's usually where these guys get together and talk, and a lot of deals get brokered, etc. So we'll find out, and I think we'll find out a little bit more about Mike Elias. I would say right now, if I had to predict, I don't think an extension gets done. I think they kind of wait. They seem to be patient and wait, kind of always be willing to wait things out. That seems to be his MO. But let's see if anything different happens here. But if it's me as the GM, I'm definitely signing him. No question. I'm not going to wait. Give him a 10-year deal. Why wouldn't you? Give him a 10-year deal. He's going to have a good 10-year career from everything we've seen so far. So definitely actually go ahead, and I would actually do the deal for 10 years. I saw the Massive Sports guys, so they were kind of talking about Gunnar. It's too early. Gunnar hasn't had a rookie season yet. So I think Adley been in the minors longer, had a good rookie season. Good. I don't think there's any reason why you can't give him a 10-year extension. Will it happen? I don't think so, but I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Orioles go the way of Wander Franco and Julio and take the comp and say, hey, look, let's go ahead and spend the money now and do that. Because we haven't seen that yet. Hasn't done that yet. Hasn't signed any long-term extensions with anyone. I think the biggest contract I think we've had is Jordan Lyles. I think last year it was like $7 million. So we haven't seen it yet. So definitely keep that in mind going forward. Hopefully we can get Adley Rutschman signed to a long-term deal. All right. So thank you very much for joining us this week. So next week, we're going to go ahead and review this game. I'll probably be doing a react after the game on Sunday afternoon. The Broncos and the Ravens. Ravens are 3-8. Broncos are 3-8. Ravens are 4-7. Broncos have not been good this year, so this will not be a good haul. You have that. And then first for me, we're gonna have a Steelers week. How do we feel about this Steelers week, guys? Steelers, not the Steelers that we've known for so many years. So they're going up to the former Heinz Field, and we're going to go ahead and go over that next week. And also to the Orioles. And the Orioles, and we're going to go over Orioles free agency next week as well. So we're going to go ahead and get that squared away. Orioles free agency. And we talked a little bit about it there. What free agent strategy is the Orioles going to use? So we're definitely going to go ahead and go a little deeper into that as far as that goes. So definitely thank you for joining us this week on our main stream. Check us out on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Y'all have a great rest of your day.